planet's changing now. This shit changing. I was gonna come up here. I had like a plan or shit to talk about. Nah. We're gonna talk about how the planet is changing. The Earth's frequency is rising. It's called the Schumann resonance. Okay? That's what scientists call it. We're gonna call it the Earth's frequency. Okay, that's what I'm gonna call it. Okay. The Earth's frequency is rising. Okay. We are beings on this planet. Our frequency is rising. The sun is in solar maximum. It's affecting the Earth. That is affecting you. All the solar flares since 2017, all the way up to last year, until today, have created a whole new radiation belt. We have a third radiation belt. Yeah. That shit created a magnetic highway between the sun and the Earth. Meaning that shit was a motherfucking portal. Through magnetic fucking vortexes. Yeah. We could get more into vortexes too, if y'all want. Because that's nature. That's the geometry of nature. The sacred geometry. The symbols and sigils and shit. That bypass your conscious and go to your subconscious. How you think they get you to do the things they want you to do? It ain't that hard. People do it willingly. They're cool with it. They don't even care. So what's gonna happen? Well, due to the Leviathan that's motherfucking moving, okay, which is why they're trying to freeze the Earth, to freeze that shit, okay, to stop this shit, okay, that shit between Antarctica and South America, like they had the videos on, right? That shit caused Antarctica to rise in sea level. And it's already the highest continent as far as elevation in the whole motherfucking world. Is Antarctica. And it rose even more. Africa, not only that, but they had this sonar where they had that anomaly, right, with the blob. That had to do with the Leviathan moving. And the aliens, the underwater ones, the UAP, plasmoid UAPs that they came out with the documents talking about there's fucking aliens going into the water and there's a whole fucking civilization and shit. That motherfucking part of the civilization had to pack up and move. Okay? That shit caused Africa to split in half. Africa is splitting in half right now. Okay? And it's creating a new ocean. And we know oceans don't exist. There's only the 7 seas. So there's going to be an 8th sea dividing Africa. Okay? And the last time that happened was Zealandia, the 8th continent, where Australia was connected to Africa. Okay? That's the future. That's what's going to happen. Not only there, though. America is going to split into 2, possibly 3 pieces as well. The fault lines at St. Louis and Wyoming are going to split. Split in 2 or 3. That's going to create another sea. There's going to be 9 seas. There's going to be aurora fields, the aurora borealis. There's going to be aurora fields all over the earth. Okay. That's how the sun is going to affect the ionosphere. That's why the magnetic field right now has a hole in it. And that's why it's flipping and it moved to fucking Russia, okay? Everything's going to change and it's going to be wonky. And in this switch, a lot of things are going to be happening to the fucking ionosphere, okay? And that shit is going to have plasma fucking effects, okay? Which come off as the fucking lights, alright? And that's just the thoughts of the fucking earth being projected, okay? And it's going to be crazy right now because of this motherfucking shift in consciousness. Okay? So that's what's going to happen. But NASA's trying to scare people and say, oh, asteroids are in their head and it's going to destroy society and all these things. The world is going to change regardless. Okay? These governments are going to have to shift into a new thing. That's why they're going digital with the digital currency. And that's why they're going with the AI, okay? Because humans have not figured out how to control and bypass nature, okay? Because you can't. And they're going to create cyborgs that can motherfucking be like oracles that could predict future events through the mathematics and the scientific data that they download into those shits so that they can fucking predict what's gonna happen and then create solutions. Okay? Because they're trying to play God right now. Okay? And within that society, what most people are going to have to do is jack themselves not only up into Starlink, okay, and not only through the nanotech that they're going to use to fucking change your anatomy, okay, to do whatever the fuck they want, okay, but you're going to have to be like motherfucking Will Smith and iRobot. Like, you're gonna have to be like a half cyborg, motherfucking half whatever the fuck, okay, and it's going to be presented in a way and packaged in a way that sounds good, okay, and sounds necessary. Like, oh, this isn't gonna be bad. You're gonna have like all these powers now. You could jump higher. You could think better. You don't have to think at all. Like, you got this machine, blah blah blah. You could do all these things. Paralyzed people could move, and blind people could see, and which is a good thing. But the problem is that most lies are built on foundations of truth. And within the true things that they're saying, from the good that will come from it, that's not the ultimate result of what's going to happen or what their plan is. Okay? The plan has always been a new world order per se. Look at the Abrahamic religions, Look at the way it's like, a Messiah is gonna come one day, and it's gonna fucking bring us this fucking one world religion, and everyone's gonna agree, and all these things. New World Order has always been the plan, all right, and they know the end of their contracts are up, and they're just scrambling and scraping for motherfucking ideas for people to jump on board. Okay, and a lot of them are trying to escape their fate, alright? That's why they want to get on spaceships and leave the fucking Earth, okay? Because they're scared of the karma that they know they're going to face, okay? And frankly, I don't blame them, but it's just within their scared nature that they live in fear, so that they would fear their karma, and fuck them. It's really fuck them. The future is looking bright though. It's looking very bright. All right, because within that cyborg nation will be other nations who decide to live off the earth. Okay. And within these societies, it's going to start off very tribal. Right? Like this group and this group and this group and this group. And the problem is good people don't unite until like the very end where it's necessary. Okay, because they don't have, intentions that are negative. They don't vibrate at low frequencies. There's no reason to control or to plan or to do any of that type of stuff. Okay, that's what the lower vibrations do. Okay, so they're already organized and planned on certain things. Okay, so what they want to do is they want to create a catastrophe or a disaster. Okay, and this disaster is going to be a cataclysm like motherfucking the last time they did it, which is the flood or the ice age. They they like to fucking hide in tunnels. They've created the whole underground system. Okay? The earth is fucking hollow. NASA already had pictures on that shit. Alright? The old 1980 motherfucking, the 80s and the older pictures of motherfucking the North Pole. Look at that shit. Okay? Look at that shit. Alright? There's satellite images of the hole. Right at the North Pole. Alright? And then those old maps where they show the North Pole with the fucking mountain. Okay, that shit exists. Alright? And that's where Admiral Byrd was talking about, oh, he flew into the North Pole and that whole shit. And there's fucking societies in there and all that shit. Alright, there's multi-layered motherfucking control happening. And they want us to focus on the surface and think, oh, this is all that's fucking going on. Okay? And the same thing is fucking going on in those underground motherfucking domes that they have, where they have whole fucking cities of people. And they're doing the same thing, telling them this is the whole world, that there's no outside fucking world. Okay? And they're doing that shit in a multi-layered motherfucking level. Okay? And there's going to be a point where they just destroy this shit and start over again. Okay? And the reason they do that is because there comes a point where people start rising up and then they're like, fuck it, let's trash it, because we can always come back and restart. That's why they save the knowledge and they save all that shit. Okay? But now that the knowledge is out there, alright, we can use it, because a lot of these symbols, especially when it comes to sacred geometry, is the language of the universe. So you could communicate to the universe and you could get these powers, and that's what they're scared of. Okay? Because we have our own defense system. Alright? They don't like that. They don't want you to tap into your powers. They don't want you to know you have powers, that you are electricity, that you breathe in ether, and that from your lungs create blood, which is plasma. So from the ether, you get motherfucking plasma, and then water, and then the fourth state of water, and all that shit goes inside you and powers your motherfucking system so that your brain can send electrical motherfucking signals. So from the ether comes the electricity, the magnetism, the dielectricity, the plasma, the water, all that shit. Okay? And that comes from the ether, breathing in the air. Okay? And the reason air and motherfucking ether are separate in alchemy when it comes to the fucking elements and the magic and shit is because motherfucking the only difference between the air and the ether is the motherfucking atmosphere. Okay? So it's the fucking medium. So the medium of the atmosphere creates fucking what they would call fucking air. Okay, which is nothing more than life force energy. Okay, and that life force energy exists in the fucking cosmos too, but space isn't nothing because it lacks fucking properties, okay? So there's physical things in space, but space isn't a fucking property, okay? You can't bend it. It's nothing like that, okay? You have to picture a fucking sea of pure motherfucking potential, but nothing's there, but the nothing is fucking just pure potential. It's a pond, it's consciousness, it's fucking energy, it's everything, okay? Just in its fucking pure chaos form, okay? And it takes vibrations and disturbing that motherfucking medium to create these things that are fucking light, okay? So from the light, all right, came from the ether. It'd be like, it's like throwing a fucking stone in the pond, okay? The pond, you got nothing going on, and when you throw the stone, that's when you get the fucking waves, okay? And then you create these motherfucking fields, these fields of waves, okay? That's what happens in the ether, okay? You create a motherfucking vibration, okay? And through that vibration, it creates fucking fields, okay? And then these fields manifest in a geometric form through vortices, okay? And then that's where things like the vortex atom come in with Lord Kelvin and shit like that. And then you got the vortex harp with Rudolf Steiner and shit like that, okay? Because everything is vortices and motherfucking vibrations and frequencies. The shit Tesla was saying, okay? And Tesla isn't the only one, okay? There's other geniuses. There's Steinmetz, Maxwell, there's fucking Heaviside, there's motherfucking Dollard. There's mad people, okay, who are smart as fuck, okay, who have fucking explained how the ether is, what light is, and how it works. And if everything's fucking light, that means everything in existence works through this fucking dielectric, magnetic, fucking vortex, fucking field geometry, okay? And from the fucking smallest shit to the atoms, to all the way to the biggest shit, to fucking black holes, which have magnetism, that shit is nothing more than the same fucking thing, okay? And gravity would be just an effect of this fucking ether. It's just another ether perturbation, okay? And it's just mass moves within the right hand fucking rule. It's the same shit that fucking in magnetism works. It's the same way, okay? The right hand rule, okay? And that's just because they switched the fucking physics of the planet and everything is really backwards. So in the universe, it's actually the left fucking hand, right? And that's why in Antarctica with that fucking, that where they just discovered the parallel universe and shit, and the fucking, the whole physics is backwards. You got particles going up into space and shit like that, because that's how shit used to be, and that's how motherfuckers are able to fly and have different motherfucking powers that they talk about, okay? It's just shit changed, and the universe, the only reason everything moves that way is because it's being projected to move that way. Everything moves the left hand and shit moves opposite, all right? That's why the maps, shit was down was up and up is down, okay? It was flipped to confuse people, okay? Because that's part of their plan. That's how it works, okay? Then they gave us these mathematic systems that work with the cosmos through the universe, the cosmic language, okay? They gave us that, and then they fucking gave us time, right? And then we use these things throughout history, and then now we've gotten to the point where they've tried to evolve these ideas of time, going from the Julian calendar to the Gregorian calendar, okay? We've gone through different fucking cultures and how they've advanced fucking mathematics to turn it to the point of even science. Now science is basically mathematics. So you see this like evolution of how things went. And what we are going to do, right, is we're going to get on our studies, right? We're going to learn the origins of everything, the etymologies of everything, from the languages to the things we use to everything, okay? And we're going to do our cosmic histories, which is learning who is the source of all these languages and things like that. Who is the oldest one? And then we're going to read all these stories and we're going to piece it together to create these cosmic motherfucking histories. So we're going to get our history back. We're going to get our knowledge back. We're going to get everything back. Okay? And it starts within. It starts in the household. It starts with raising a good family. Okay? Spreading the knowledge to people. Okay? Good. Being a good individual. Okay, so you have to vibrate with love, you have to vibrate with authenticity, you got to be real, you can't hold your tongue, but at the same time, you got to be what you would perceive as good and bad, because that's a personal thing. Okay, so good and evil exists within you and how you feel, because you know what's good, you know what's bad, you can feel it. Okay, so we're going with those good feelings and those high vibrations. Okay, and we're watching what we say, because what we say also creates vortices. Okay, we're watching what we think. Okay, because our thoughts shape reality. Okay, we're watching what we eat, because even though this spiritual journey isn't about the physical, so that's why Buddha's fast. You're like, okay, you don't really have to care, but caring about yourself is the most necessary part of learning what the fuck you would think God is, or what you would call God is. Okay, because God is nothing more than you. Okay, you and me, and we are just extensions and pieces of that. Everything in existence is just a piece of that. Okay, because Tiamat split herself into half, right? Being the earth and then being space, right? So we come from that primordial motherfucking chaos, that ether. Okay, that motherfucking consciousness that connects all of us, right? That pure potential. Okay, that primordial motherfucking womb. Alright, that's where we all come from. Alright, so loving yourself is how you learn what God is. Okay, so someone who doesn't love themselves cannot tell you who or what God is. Alright, because that is self-love, that's a self-relationship. And when it comes to the greatest spiritual leaders, if you want to read the texts or tablets and who you consider these motherfucking martyrs of spirituality, if that you want to call that in a sense, all of them say the same fucking thing. Alright, is that the kingdom of God is within you. Okay? Self-love. Alright, everything matters. I enjoy doing these things. I want people to rise in frequency. I want people to drop their fears and really dive into life, okay, fearlessly, and create. All right, I'm here. I manifested a new reality, okay? So now I'm in an energy that's different. Now I can be more creative and expressive and artistic and do different things, okay, without the stresses of fucking a more city like motherfucking environment where everything's more fast paced and shit like that. Okay, I'm more in tune with nature now, and you know, you can hear it in the background of my fucking videos. Okay, I'm there. All right, manifested that. All right, and it took a lot of inner work and a lot of change and a lot of accepting motherfucking that, you know, people have shaped my perception over time, and I had to not believe none of that shit. And I shape my own perceptions of myself, and I create all my motherfucking memories. So all my bad memories, I'm shifting and making good of it and looking at the good side of everything and how it shaped me to be this person who I am today, because everything the motherfucking world threw at me, I fucking conquered that shit, and I'm here now. So good luck on your journey. Good luck in your battle. You got this. Till next time.